So we've done our analysis, we've got our idea, our financial model, we've figured out how to fund our company, and from here we go into marketing. So real quick, everybody thinks of marketing as the fun stuff. Let's create our Super Bowl ad. Let's put an ad inside of a magazine, and it's the creative part, and we get excited. Just putting our logo together for the company, we get excited, you know. What color should it be? What picture should be involved? What are we trying to say? What's our font gonna be? That is a legit corporate question, and it's fun. It's the part we like. Even the idea of just coming up with a name is all part of that. But it's not just advertising. The good news is when we start looking at marketing, it comes down to pricing, our target customer, and then promotions. And what do those promotions look like? Okay. The good news is, as we've done our research, as you have with your business plans all semester, you're starting to figure out what you can charge for your product, what value it adds, and what's it's worth. One of the questions I always get after the financial model or the accounting section is, now we can figure out, we can calculate how much it costs, or how much we should, I'm sorry, not how much it costs, but how much we should sell it for. You never do that as an accounting exercise. How much do you sell your product for?
How do you gauge it?
Yeah.
The
The market value. You want to, your selling price is whatever people are willing to pay for it. And if the majority of people are willing to pay $10 for our donut, we're going to sell it for $10, right? Are people willing to spend regularly $10 on donuts? No. So we start looking at pricing. At what point and what price point is there a value to a more expensive donut? And is the value perceived within that? What? Lake Norman, yeah. Exactly, yes. And there's certain markets you can. So the question is, if that's part of one of our advantages is being in Lake Norman, that's the price we'd go after. Different market, different customer, but we could definitely go after that market. There's a really good example of that. So we talk about that market. I had a professor. He went into a shop in Las Vegas that sold nothing but pens that you write on. And they had all these different pens, and he's looking at all these pens, and he specifically said, what's the most expensive pen you have in this entire place? And this is Las Vegas. And they said, well, you know, it's over here, and they get their keys out, and they walk over, and they unlock a case, and he takes it off like it's, you know, like the Holy Grail, and he puts it in his hand. He's like, wow, this is a nice pen. How much is it? He's like, $5,000. And he's like, well, that's really nice. And he hands back the pen and is like, wow, that's very interesting. And he said, I got to ask you, how many $5,000 pens do you sell? And he said, one. And that's what our entire business model is built on, is selling one $5,000 pen every month. Everything else is just on the periphery. It is part of our business model. We are in the business of selling one $5,000 pen a month. In Las Vegas, is it possible? I think in Las Vegas, anything is possible. But they know their pricing, they know their target customer. But then we go to our promotions, right? Are they promoting? Have you seen any ads for a $5,000 pen? No. So that's where we start to develop our signs, our flyers, all the fun stuff that we think. But how are we going to reach our customers? How are we going to make connections with them? So you watch the business case on features, and they made a nice athletic sock, right? And you even heard me in that interview say, I'm not your customer. I buy my socks 6 in a pack at Target, right? And they gave me one pair to try on, and all of a sudden I was like, these are the socks I'm going to wear for the rest of my life. And I've done nothing but I changed brands, and now I spend more money for socks because that value actually is there for me. So with that, who are their customers, right? They're not selling directly to me. They started based on making contracts and contacts and sales forces that went after small retail specialty running stores, people who truly value that product. So out of the gate, I was not their customer. But moving forward, They were able to start hitting new markets, and they went into the e-commerce market. And you could tell it's a family-owned business from the interview that the father really, he accepted it, but had no idea how to go after that market. He was used to going in, making handshakes, making presentations, and his youngest son from there has taken it and said, all right, we're going to go the e-commerce route. This is how we're going to advertise it. And they've done really well successful. They've been very successful in hitting both markets, but they're both two different customers. How you sell to Dick's Sporting Goods, how you sell to Run for Your Life is completely different than how you sell to any one of us. And I think I even ended the interview and I said, all you got to do is get one pair of your socks on everybody in America, and everybody in America would start buying your socks. And then how are you going to make those sales? So in their case, they have a sales team. They go out. They are all external reps. So I hire you, and whatever you sell, you get to keep 10, 15, 25%. And you're in Texas, you're in Alabama, you're in California, and that's how I build my rep basis. You're selling my product, but you're working solely on commission, right? So that's one route. Nice thing about that is you're not on my payroll. You get paid only on what you do to succeed. It may make you more hungry, but at the same time, if I'm not paying you anything, that also means you're not making any sales.
You can't control me either.
And I can't control you either. You might be selling 3 products.
Right, yeah. Or you can't demand reports from me, you can't.
Exactly.
I keep my knowledge to myself.
Exactly. On the flip side is I get some in-house reps. So now I hire the 3 of you, and you are all my in-house reps. Well, I need to pay you no matter what. And hopefully I'm going to incentivize you with bonuses based on that, but that gets to be expensive. And then there's management on top of that. And then we've also mentioned e-commerce. How can I sell online? The good news is I'm exposed to everybody. Let me correct that. I'm not exposed to everybody. I'm available to everybody. Nobody knows I'm there at that point. So in doing so, we've really got to truly evaluate who are we selling to. Are we selling to the direct consumer? Are we selling to a reseller, such as a retailer? Are we selling to a distributor? Or are we selling to a business? No different than Nomad, another case that we discussed this module. With Nomad, they sell business to business on how they can actually sell digital advertising to their company. Their sales and how you sell to a company is different. You don't walk into a business and say, hey, can I put a sock on your foot? No. Do you say, hey, can I make, your offices cooler? No. What you're selling to business is, how can I help you improve your bottom line? How can I help you generate sales? How can I help you cut costs? This is no different than the issue Clear Collar had. We mentioned with cervical collars that if you're in an accident, you don't get to choose what collar you're in. Oddly enough, one of the most frustrating points is I could walk into any medical facility of people that treat patients that are in a trauma scenario, hold up the collar, and they'd say, oh my gosh, that's what we need. We need it every single day. We need it every single day. I want it for all my patients. They weren't the purchaser either. And that was the one thing going in that we weren't aware of. There was somebody that was making that purchasing decision, and it was different in every single city for every different facility. Sometimes it was the local municipality. It was done by the government. Sometimes it was done by the hospital. Sometimes it was done within the department. And this was one segment that in our research we didn't realize was struggling so much with their budgets. If we were in a hospital, and we all complain about, if you have a cold and you go to the emergency room, it costs you $1,000, right? Well, this was an area where it was that their budgets are much different and they don't get billed back out to Medicaid, Medicare, or insurance. So in doing so, you recognize who you're selling to, how you're going to sell them, and one of the most key things here is having sales management. This gets overlooked a lot. It's great having a good sales team, but there has to be a sales plan that matches what your strategy is in order to generate revenue for the company.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/NexagyEducation or visit CasmaReward.com to catch up on previous episodes.